to stretch too. Goodness.
The court calls the matter of Paslaski versus Mars, case number 2021-5404DS. If all parties and attorneys could please state their name and appearance for the record, starting with plaintiff's attorney, Ms. Starks.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ray Starks appearing on behalf of Edward Paslaski, who's also present via Zoom today.
Good morning, everyone. Today's date and time set for a hearing. This matter is being done by remote technology due to decisions of the Chief Judge in the Supreme Court. Contents of this video may be the official record of a proceeding of the State of Michigan's 9th Judicial Circuit. Unauthorized duplication or alteration of said content is strictly prohibited. Today's date and time set for a defendant's or motion regarding custody and parenting time. This matter was properly noticed out. In between the noticing of that, there was a motion to withdraw as counsel from Ms. Town, who represented Ms. Mars in this matter. One of the reasons alleged in the motion to withdraw is that Ms. Mars was not keeping in contact with Ms. Town. She was properly noticed to be here today. Her not appearing is not surprising based on the motion to withdraw as counsel. Ms. Starks, are you prepared to go forward today?
Your Honor, I suppose I am prepared to go forward, actually. Yes, I didn't have an opportunity to present exhibits to Mr. Paslaski, or excuse me, to opposing counsel, because she withdrew on the same date I was going to send those over. I wasn't able to send those over to Ms. Mars, and she's not present today. I'm able to put proofs on the record and have Mr. Paslaski testify if that's what this court requires. But at this time, I would just like to move forward and ask Your Honor to not only dismiss the motion for parenting time, but we are largely concerned about the parenting time that is in place. Ms. Mars has been late on at least 2 occasions by the amount of 20 minutes for picking up the party's minor children. She is not appropriately securing them in car seats. The 7-year-old, according to the Michigan State Police website, is required to be in a booster seat.
Ms. Starks, let me cut to the chase. We're going to do a hearing. It's their motion. Rather than dismiss it, I'd rather get an order with temporary parenting time going now. So your client's here. Let's swear him in. Let's see what's best for the child. And before you tell me what he's going to testify to, why don't we just have him testify, if that's okay?
Sounds great, Your Honor.
Sure, that means your attorney's doing a great job. I'm just trying to get you under oath first. So we'll get to it all, but I'd rather hear it from you. Like I said, Ms. Mars had the right to be here for whatever reason. She has kind of gone AWOL. And through the response to her motion, I've heard your allegations as to why, so let's get some testimony. So, sir, if you'll raise your right hand, you solemnly swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please state your full name, spelling your first and last name for the record.
Edward Michael Stephen Paslaski. EDWARD PASLASKI.
Thank you. And with, like I said, proper notice was given. We are prepared to go today. If at any time anyone appears in the waiting room for Zoom, we will let them in. Ms. Starks, you may inquire as to what your response to the temporary custody and parenting time motion and what your client thinks is best for the child at this time, children at this time.
Excellent. Thank you, Your Honor. Ed, can you please tell me, who is Katie Mars to you right now?
At this point, she's really nothing. She doesn't do anything that she used to. I mean, she's just never around.
Okay. Is she biologically the mother of your children?
Yes.
All right. And how many children do you and Ms. Mars have in common together?
We have 3.
And was there a 4th child?
Yes, Lillian.
Okay. And we lost Lillian. Do I understand that correctly?
No, my sister cannot give birth to children, so Katie was a surrogate for my sister.
Okay. That's actually very kind of her. So the 3 children that you and Katie have are who? Can you please give us their first names and their ages?
Liam is 7, Summer is 5, and Sophia is 4.
Excellent. And were you and Miss Mars living together until approximately January of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell me, what was your relationship, very briefly, what was your relationship like up until January of this year?
Not really there. She was never there. She was always sleeping during the day. So when I'd get home, she would be sleeping, and then we would talk, and then she'd get mad and usually leave for the afternoon, come back before she has to go to work, and then it'd be the same thing the next morning.
Okay. Why is Ms. Mars sleeping all the time? Why was she sleeping all the time, if you know?
I at first thought it was because she was working part-times at night from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m., but then I found out it was because of alcohol.
All right, and what do you mean it was because of alcohol? Can you elaborate on that just a bit more?
With my job, I was able to come home on my lunch breaks and make my lunch here, so I'd come home and make a salad. I started noticing that she would smell like alcohol. I would sit down next to her and I could smell it more. I started finding empty containers in the shed, wrapped up in the plastic bags how we usually take our bottles back. So we never really drank. So she was starting to drink, and that was our problem pretty much through the entire time. As she started drinking, we would have issues.
Okay. When you say we never really drank, you mean both you and Katie?
Yes.
Okay. Do you consume alcohol presently? Is that a no?
Yeah, no, never.
Okay. And Ms. Mars, when you found these bottles, did you talk to her about it?
Yes.
And what did she say?
She would deny them and dismiss it.
All right. Did you leave it at that? Did you have growing concerns? Tell me how this progressed.
I started complaining. I would text her more every day and say, yeah, you're just going to sleep all day because you've been drinking. I would call her at like 9:30. She wouldn't answer sometimes. My dad would call my son's phone to get him on school every single day because we couldn't trust Katie to get my kids up and get my son on class.
Okay. So was Katie supposed to be responsible for the children?
Yes.
Was she actually responsible for the children?
No.
And how did that impact your home life and your work life?
It was very stressful. I went to work every day not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing if I'm going to have somebody show up because my kid's not in school for a certain amount of time. Yeah, it was kind of nerve-wracking.
And that stress that you felt, did it appear by Katie's actions that she was also feeling stress?
I would say, yeah. I've been trying to get her to quit that job for so long, and even my parents were trying to tell her to quit because she was complaining about being stressed out, not having enough sleep, being angry all the time. We were trying to get her to quit. She just wouldn't. She liked the money.
Okay. Did Katie ever take that out on you physically?
Yes, a few times.
Okay. Tell me what you mean by that.
The first time when she started the job and she was physically violent with me, we were talking in the bedroom and I was discussing, I said, hey, you can't be sleeping all the time. Like, you have to be responsible. The laundry hasn't done, the dishes haven't been done in a couple days. So I was talking to her about that. That turned into her pushing me and then me closing the door and then her trying to leave. I said, no, we're going to discuss this. She started punching the door. I would stand in front of the door so she would stop punching the door, and she went to grab my ears because I have them gauged, so she would use that at me. She would grab my ears and try pulling on them. It's she's really not, she don't like confrontation. Like when somebody tries talking to her about something she's messing up, she gets angry and she tries avoiding it or she shuts down.
Okay. So I'm hearing about an occasion where she physically attacked you. Did that only happen once?
No. There was another time where I was laying in the bedroom. It was about 10:30 at night. It was it was a work night. I come out here, I found her laying on the couch with an open bottle of White Claw, I think it is. I grabbed that and I said, I thought you don't drink anymore. And she says, don't worry about it. So I go to dump that out and then she pushes me into the door, the sliding door where I was dumping it out. So my face hit the door. I turned back. I said, what are you doing? And she said, why did you dump that out? I was going to drink that. I said, you don't need to drink in my house. It's not okay. I said, you need to be responsible. You can't do this. That turned into her slapping me a couple times. And like I try to do every time she gets violent, I try holding her down, at least try calming her down, or at least try stopping the situation, or at least me getting hit. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't.
Okay. The first event that you told us about where she was grabbing your ears,
Yeah.
do you remember the date that happened?
I want to say April 20 or April 20th or something like that. That's the day I called the cops on her.
Okay. April 20th of what year?
2021 or
Okay.
20. Yeah, it's I want to say 20.
Okay.
I want to say 21.
Okay.
No, 20. Sorry, 20. Yeah, 20. This is 21.
That's all right. So April of 2020.
Yes.
Were the kids in the house when she attacked
Yes.
you? That's a yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then the second event that you were telling us about with the White Claw, when she, when you poured that out, what date did that happen?
That happened, I want to say December 27th, 28th of 2020.
Okay. So also in 2020.
Yes.
And were the kids home for that incident?
Yes.
All right. The incident that happened in April of 2020, was alcohol involved? Do you believe she had been drinking at that time?
Yes, she was drinking at that time.
And what makes you think that?
Because I found a little pint bottle of CNC in the dumpster or in my little garbage can.
Okay. Do you have concerns about Katie's drinking?
Yes, I've had concerns about her drinking for a while. She's gotten in trouble before we moved to Kalamazoo with it. She has a couple MIPs from it. My parents bought her a car, and the first thing my parents told her is don't drink and drive. And the first thing she did that week was drink and drive and got a ticket for it.
Okay. So you're telling me that Katie has a criminal history she's been convicted for alcohol-related offenses?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at least one time she's received a DUI, and on more than one occasion has she received an MIP?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Since January of 2021, how has the parenting time worked with Katie? Has she been coming over to the house? And let's talk about January of 2021 up until this temporary order went into place. Okay.
So when she originally moved out, it was fine. It was every couple of days she would come over 2 hours, spend some time with them. It was fine. All of a sudden, it was 4 days. She wouldn't call the kids. Kids call her, no answer, no nothing. She would show up, stink, hasn't showered in a couple days. Yeah, and then she was just being just angry, just not herself. When she would leave, it was like another week till she would come back and visit the kids, but she would call and talk to them in between. Then we discussed it. We would set up, she would come over every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 2 p.m. or 2 to 4 and spend however long she wants to. We agreed on that. She said, yeah. First day came, she showed up an hour late. Yeah, and so I gave her 45 minutes. So me and the kids went and played at the park because it was snowing out. So we went sledding. So after that day, she would just call. She really wouldn't even show. There was one time she would show, and that was like 30 minutes late, and I was even surprised she even showed. And she says, "Aren't you surprised I showed?" I said, "Yeah, but you could have showed up on time, you know." And that was just constant. And then I just got so irritated because she didn't want to be a mom, like, and actually see her kids. She would just rather call them. So I just stopped answering my phone. Like, if you want to be a mom, come here and see your kids. That's all I was trying to get her to do, is see her kids. And she just never would come over. And then all of a sudden, when we started the whole court thing, then she started being present. But she still starts showing up late. And
we'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to talk about that January up to, we'll say, roughly June, you know, up to that window before this temporary order went into place. When Katie would come visit the kids, did you ever suspect her of drinking?
No, well, yes. The first time she came back over after the 4 days she disappeared and stunk, you could smell alcohol on her breath still. After that, no, because she would never come over.
Okay. Between January to June, can you approximate for me how many times per week would Katie call to talk to the children?
At the least once, at the most maybe 4, 5.
And the children are pretty young. Walk
Yes.
me through, without using their words, using your perception. Tell me, how did your oldest do with those talks with mom on the phone? Was he able to comprehend that and be actively involved?
Yeah, he was pretty much sad and asked his mom constantly when she was going to come back over and see him. And she would always tell him, "I'll be over Tuesday or tomorrow." And then tomorrow would show up and it was just no show. I'd have Liam call her and she wouldn't even answer.
Okay.
Not even a phone call back.
Okay. So she would make a promise that she was going to be there and then she wouldn't follow through on that promise.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you think that?
I never seen my son mope around. He's always just hyper and running around like he is now. Back then, I couldn't get him off of his little Nintendo Switch. I couldn't get him off of it. I'd have to take it away from him to get him to do anything with us.
Okay. How about Summer? Now, she's pretty young.
Yep.
Was she able to talk to Katie on the phone?
Yes.
All right. And how long would that last?
With the girls, it was only a couple minutes, like maybe 2 or 3. Liam was more close to her than any of them. Like the girls are daddy's girls. So yeah, with Liam, it was probably about 10 minutes. With the girls, it was probably 2 to 3 minutes apiece.
Okay. And how did the girls appear to be after they would talk to mom on the phone?
They were excited. They were like, "We're gonna see mom," and yeah, it was cute. Yeah.
And did they look sad the next day when mom didn't show up like she said she would?
When Liam would say something the next day and ask, "Is mom gonna be here today?" They would get sad because I'd have to say, "I don't know." I would say, "Expect it," but I don't know, Bubba. I know she loves you, but she might be working. I know mom's busy, so she might be working.
Okay. And do you know, did Katie have a job at that time?
I had no idea she had a job.
Okay. Why did you tell the kids that she might be working?
Because I really didn't know what to tell the kids, because I didn't expect her to ever show up.
Okay. Were you still trying to support and promote their relationship with Katie?
Yes.
Even though it hurt them?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I when she would start calling, I would answer the phone and she would want to talk to the kids. I said, Katie, you got to quit talking to the kids. I said, you need to come over here and see them. I said, I can't let you talk to them because you're going to keep lying to them. I said, that's hurting them worse. I said, you got to come over here and see them. It's like, I'm just busy, or I can't find a ride, or it was constant excuse after excuse.
Okay. Between January and June, did you know where Katie was living?
I knew the apartments. I didn't know where exactly she was living.
Did Katie provide
Hold on, Ms. Starks. Ms. Starks, can you pause? We're having a quick recording issue. Give us a second. We're just gonna take a quick break because we got an error code that just popped up and our lights are changing color. So we're gonna take a quick. You guys can all sit tight. We'll take a quick 5 minutes until we make sure we're 100%.
Sure. Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm just gonna put you back in the breakout or in the waiting room for right now, okay?
Actually, could you give us a breakout room, Carlia?
Sure.